That was a day. Hope yours was good. Mine started off with a spectacular rocket launch, watching the Falcon 9, SpaceX Falcon 9 take off with three Bluebird satellites from AST Space Mobile, and kind of kicking myself for not buying more leaps for that company. But at the end of the day, it could have been better. The Fed made some comments, impacted the market, and my portfolio gave up a bit of money. I'll show you what happened just after this. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Patrick on a $1 million mission to grow my registered disability savings plan and sharing the journey with you so you can learn from my mistakes. Today, I didn't do too much, but despite that, my portfolio ended the day down $3,100, which was a decline of about 1.5%. And that was worse than I would have done had I just invested in a TSX index ETF or a S&P 500 index ETF. Both of those lost money today too. But I matched the performance of the NASDAQ today, which lost 1.5% as well. So, it could have been better, could have been worse. And I'll show you why my portfolio performed that way and get into any questions and answers anybody has. Caregivers or disabled investors about the registered disability savings plan, and maybe compare how things go here in Canada with abroad. To start, I did make a trade today. I've updated the spreadsheet, so anybody who's following along can check it out. Link is in the description. I bought one ETF today, about 120 shares of CBIL. That's the Treasury bond ETF, 0 to 3 month Treasury bond, Treasury bill ETF. And I do that just as a parking lot for cash. I've got about 10% of my portfolio held in cash right now. I don't know if that's wise or not, but it helps me sleep at night, knowing that I have some dry powder, what they call dry powder, in case I want to buy something. So that's what happened. As far as why my portfolio performed the way it did, Alphabet gave up a fair chunk of money this morning. I saw it down about 2% at one point. I'm not sure where it ended, but the leap that I hold for Alphabet, I have a pair of them, $375 calls expiring in January 2028. Together they gave up $1,200. Microsoft also gave up some money, and that was about $1,000 on its own. That is a $400 call for Microsoft expiring in January 2028. And a pair of leaps that I have for Apple, $300 calls that expire at the same time, January 2028, also gave up some money. I'm sure glad that I sold the shares that I had of Quantum Emotion and bought the leap or the long calls instead, because they were down a little bit today as well. But it seemed like most things that I was into were down today. What wasn't down was AST Space Mobile. After its launch today, the leaps that I hold for AST Space Mobile, I have two $85 calls expiring in January 2028. Those gained $1,200, so that kind of offset the loss that Alphabet presented today. But that's why I said I kind of kicked myself for not spending just a little bit more money and buying an additional leap for AST yesterday. It is what it is, though. You live and learn. Rocket Lab was also up. That one gained. That was a $100 call expiring in January 2028. And that added about 800 and change to the sorry, 600 and change to the portfolio. Still low vision. And Planet Labs was up as well, adding just about $140 to the portfolio. Not a heck of a lot, but better than a kick in the pants. And Redwire, another space-related stock, leap in this case, gained a bit of money. So yeah, that was okay. And the reason for it all, the volatility and the market kind of holding its breath earlier, had to do with the U.S. Federal Reserve Chair uh, Kevin Warsh um, making statements, and the Federal Reserve kind of kicking out some information that they may hike rates this year. Despite Warsh being kind of what they call dovish, somebody who wants rate cuts. I believe that's what that means. Don't quote me on that. I got to look it up again. But he's somebody who'd like to see rate cuts, believing that that would spur on the economy. The rest of the board seems to believe that the economy is running a little too hot, prices are too high, and things are unaffordable right now. So my understanding is that they're pushing for rates to stay the same or even raise them a little bit to slow down spending and make things even more difficult for people, I suppose, because if rates go up, that means borrowing goes up, and I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I'm glad I'm not in their shoes. But that's essentially the long and the short of it today. I'll switch over to the spreadsheet so you can take a look at what's in it and what's changed. So yeah, the only thing that changed today was adding the cash that was taken out yesterday back into the CBIL Treasury ETF. So there's 405 shares in that now, totaling about $20,000 in the Treasury bill ETF. And that's the only thing that I did today. In terms of performance and progress towards the $1 million mission, I'm back up to $201,000. So it's lower than a couple of days ago. It looks like it's better than yesterday, but it's not, because this doesn't count cash that's not invested. So you can't totally rely on this, but it's showing that I'm back up to 20.12% of the goal. So that's that. And I'll open it up to anybody has comments, questions. Looks like we've got some. What is up, broski? Nice to see you. It was up to 402,000 today. That's awesome in RDSP. The Fed meeting started. I'm down to 390. That hurts. At least it's not too bad, but that's the beauty of that XEQT, right? Like it's diversified. It's into more than just one thing, one country. I mean, the U.S., I believe, makes up 45% of that fund. So, we still have a fair bit of exposure there, but it could be worse. Could have been worse. So, congratulations, you didn't lose too much. And I guess you got to look at the big picture. When in doubt, zoom out, like someone wise once said. The thing is that you're still up a bunch of money from where you started, and so am I. So I'm happy about that. Of course, I'd like to have more, but it's okay. It's quite all right. Interested to see if anybody has any questions about the RDSP or comparisons with the ABLE account in the States. It's interesting to see the differences and similarities of the programs. We get some viewers from UK as well, and I understand that disabled investors there aren't so many. There isn't a similar program. They've got trusts, I believe, that are set up for people with disabilities, and I don't know what their definition of disability is for that, but it'd be interesting to hear from someone who manages a trust for somebody, maybe a loved one. But it's been a pretty good good ride today. I'm just bringing up the stats for the stream. And yeah, so it's been a good good ride today. Interested to hear how it's been going for everybody else. And yeah, if we don't have any questions, I won't be sticking around too long. I had a little bit of excitement today. We have a local, it's sort of a hybrid auction. It's a auction house that does their auctions online, but then makes you go there and pick the stuff up in person and pay in person, or else send an e-transfer. And I bought a green screen to play around, see if I can make the broadcast a little more interesting with, you know, like different backgrounds and things. Turns out it's just too big for the room that I'm recording this in, so I can't use it. But it only cost me like 15-20 bucks with tax and their buyer's fees. So, you know, I'm probably gonna flip it and make a little bit of money on it. But it's interesting, you know, these closeout auctions. I don't know if you have any where you are, but it's a way to, you know, make a little bit extra money just flipping stuff. It's nothing fancy. It's little grunt work, little, you know, little experimentation, see what works. I had bought lighting the other day too, and it like for 50 bucks. That's worth over 100, and just doesn't fit in the space, unfortunately. So I got to do some more measuring before I buy things, it seems. Or, you know, instead of buying big soft boxes and things like that, buy little LED panels. Then there's all sorts of things to consider. Like right now, all I'm using for lighting is a little desk lamp, and it does okay, but it makes me look orange. I kind of look like what's it, Elmo. So yeah, it was one of those days. Started off with a bang with the launch, and here we are. Space stocks were where it was at today. So yeah, it was pretty good. Anyways, short and sweet. Glad to hear it went good. What is up, broski? And yeah, hope we recover tomorrow. It's looking early on like there's a bit of a bounce coming for the big tech. That's what I watch is you know, what big tech is doing, because I'm so exposed to it. But it's been responsible, along with the space and quantum stuff, for the growth in my portfolio. So, you know, I hang on for dear life and see what happens, and that's what happened today. So anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a good day to do other things and sit on your hands and not get too caught up in what's going on in the market, which is exactly what I did today. Hope you had a good one, and I will talk to you again tomorrow at the same time, 6:45 p.m. Take care. Not financial advice. I'm sharing my personal journey.